She thought she was in control. How wrong she was.
The data is coming out about how beneficial it is for us to be hungry. Recently, I've been learning some pretty wild benefits to refraining from us stuffing our faces, like disease prevention, reducing our inflammation, and living longer. So this week I thought, let's explore this. You should also check out another Aussie, David Sinclair, a biologist who loves doing extensive studies on health and longevity. I don't get paid to mention him, I simply feel he's just making some radical discoveries about things our bodies do and how they respond that might actually help us.
But what's really interesting is that certain diseases, type 1 diabetes, multiple sclerosis, even cancer, those diseases seem to also benefit from fasting.
He talks about fasting, reversing aging and disease, and it's really good if you're into, learning stuff. There are a lot of different ways to do fasting. There's intermittent fasting, like 16-8, there's 12-hour, there's a weird one about only eating sunlight. I'm not kidding. Googleize that if you dare. But here I'm choosing the 2-day fast. The only things allowed are water, herbal tea, and my tears of utter despair. The reason why I suddenly decided to fast for 2 days this week is because from what I've been learning, it seems like the benefits seriously outweigh the temporary discomfort that is going to be felt, and it makes all of it worthwhile. I stopped eating at 6 p.m. on Sunday. I did a weight training session on Monday morning. I died. So you're seeing zombie Gemma on screen right now. I didn't feel hungry in the morning. That's not really unusual because I never feel hungry in the mornings, and I also never feel hungry after I work out, even if I've lifted weights. It takes a number of hours before I actually have an appetite. Don't know why. So I finally got my first tummy text message at 2 p.m. on Monday. And when that hit, I reminded myself that feeling hungry is good for us food-spoiled, whiny humans. I think it was Aristotle who said, feeling hungry is good for us food-spoiled, whiny humans. So what helped me through the first day of eating no food is really two things. One is that I deliberately scheduled activities to keep me occupied so I wasn't thinking about food or the process of getting food or cooking food or eating the food. And secondly, my normal routine is to have my first meal of the day around lunchtime anyway. So I found that stretching that out further to not eating for a few more hours that day was uncomfortable, but it wasn't impossible. Feeling too hungry to me is a lot better than feeling too full. I don't like bloat, but I do like the feeling of stuffing my face with food. I think Freud had something to say about that. A phase which never seems to end. What was my number one reason for doing this in the first place? To not look like a middle-aged frump. No, it's way more life-enhancing and deep than that. It's something called autophagy. What the heck is autophagy? Autophagy is a form of cellular housekeeping where misfolded proteins, damaged bits, and pathogens are degraded and removed from the cells.
Autophagy, which recycles proteins. So when you're hungry, this autophagy will get all the old proteins, put them in the recycling bin, and then bring them out as fresh proteins. And that seems to be really important for longevity.
Autophagy plays a critical role in many areas of health, including the prevention of numerous diseases like cancer, diabetes, autoimmune diseases, infections, and neurodegenerative and cardiovascular diseases. Wow, that is a lot. The normal process of autophagy declines with age, but studies indicate that increased activation of autophagy may lead to a longer lifespan. So you can poke and activate autophagy no matter what your age. So this is where it gets really cool. There are other ways of doing this, but fasting is a really effective way of activating this process. It begins between 24 and 48 hours of fasting normally, but it seems 24 hours is the sweet spot. So if you can stop eating for 24 hours, and then the benefits increase. So 48 hours is really good. 3 days, something else starts to kick in as well. That's a whole other video. That's great, Gemma. I'm glad you're making fire content on YouTube with your obsession with learning. But how the heck did it feel? And is it worth it? So at the end of the first day in the afternoon, I found my fingers were feeling cold. And that's weird for me because usually I run really hot. It's one thing I've noticed is for some reason, on the first day, I started getting a little cold and I thought, that's it, go for a walk. I'm gonna have to find out what that means. Sure enough, cold hands and cold feet are actually normal side effects of fasting. And it's a good thing. When you fast, blood flow increases to your fat stores, or adipose tissue if you want to sound fancy. Adipose, adipose. I should have searched that. At that 24-hour mark, what was happening is my body was tapping into its fat stores for energy. And there's no heap of blood flow happening to my digestive system because there's no food to digest. Our blood sugar drops, so it means we can burn the fatties. Yeah, burn the fatties! I woke up feeling lively on day 2.
Actually woke up feeling quite energetic today, not hungry, and lighter in general. So that's good.
I wasn't hungry. I took a selfie to show progress. I have a flatter tummy. The official scientific term for this is the reduced pooch effect. At the 42-hour mark, I weighed myself and I was 83 kilograms. So I lost half a kilo, or 1 pound for my American viewers. I probably lost that 500 grams because I didn't have anything to go to the bathroom with, if you know what I mean. Just keeping it real here. So what did I like about the 2-day fast? Here are the benefits. Number 1, you have way more time to spend. So much time is spent shopping for food, cooking the food, cleaning after cooking, eating the food, thinking about what to eat. Take all of that away, you realize, oh, I actually have a lot more time to spend. Number 2, you realize how many unhelpful habits you have. Snacking, eating just to be social, eating from boredom, eating to celebrate. It's like food has become culture itself. Thirdly, you get to practice control over your emotions. When your tummy is rumbling and physically it's gurgling and carrying on and you're feeling hungry, you realize that state is going to pass, that you're not going to die, that building some resilience to difficulty is a good thing, that being trained to have an on-demand instant fix to any moment where we feel hungry is not actually helping us become stronger or have some self-control. My tips for anyone who's looking to do a fast like this: firstly, plan in advance. In the lead up to a 2-day fast, I think it'd be good to work your way up to feeling what fasting feels like. For example, start with 12-hour fast in the 2 weeks up to it, or every second day try a 10-hour fast, or limiting the window on which you do eat. So that way you get used to the idea of not always having food on demand, so you can wean yourself into the process. I jumped right in, but in saying that, I'm used to not eating until lunchtime anyway, so for anyone who's new to it, I would recommend just start with a smaller time frame first before launching into a 2-day fast. Remove all food from your fridge or pantry if you need to. If you know that you're going to reach for something and if temptation's there and you're just going to start snacking, then box it up, move it, use up anything that's going to go bad over those 2 days that you're fasting, so that you don't trigger, your childhood memories of needing to eat everything on your plate, not waste food, not waste money, or heap guilt on yourself about starving kids in Africa. Plan some gentle activities for yourself to keep yourself busy when you know you're going to be challenged to eat something. The fun thing I like doing was I planned my break fast meal and make it a small meal. Good luck with the little bit of self-control when you do start to eat again, but if you can just have something small first, wait 5 minutes, have another bite, wait. I baked some really delicious Polish cabbage beef rolls. Man, they were good. First time I tried that recipe, it was epic. Secondly, learn your body. This is really important. Really listen to it and time how long your hunger pains last for. I find they last for about 5 minutes and then they pass. So if you get to learn what to expect with the timing of your body, and that pain only lasts for a brief period and it's relatively uncomfortable. I think if you're shaking and you faint and you fall over and stuff like that, there's probably some other stuff going on and stop the fast, you know what I mean? Like sensible common sense does it. But discomfort is totally doable. Like, yes, I'm hungry. Rumble, rumble. Yes, okay. Yep, here, good one. Thanks, body. And then wait for it to pass. It'll be a few minutes. There's a difference between hunger and low energy moments and feeling uncomfortable and feeling unwell. Thirdly, obvious, drink lots of water. Know that water is going to be your best friend during this period of time, and add a pinch of salt for electrolytes and additional hydration. And finally, do your own research. Speak to your doctor or nutritionist if that will help. Watch experts in their field like David, who I mentioned earlier, where he talks about longevity and talks about fasting. Apparently I have a high tolerance for discomfort, which is why I really didn't have a whinge fest when I did this fast. But I know there are going to be some folk out there who almost have a breakdown if they don't snack every hour. But also chat with our little community here. Leave a comment below. Have you tried fasting before? Have you found some tips or something that's really helpful? Have you found some benefits to it? I found I had increased energy. There were moments where I did get tired, but they passed. They were fairly quick. So share your experiences, good and bad, and because maybe what you have to offer is going to help somebody else out. And that's the whole point of YouTube. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I have left a bunch of links to different resources below if you want to research on fasting further. Have an awesome weekend, and I'll see you next time. Share.